I'm going to call this meeting to order. And I will accept the motion to approve the minutes of April 3rd and approve bills to payment 21, 21P, and CC6.
And also, Zeke, there's the Energy Committee one.
The Energy.
Which is EC2.
EC2?
Yeah.
I'll move we approve the minutes of April 3rd and the bills 21, 21P, CC6, and EC2.
I'll second that. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Before we go into recognition of visitors and public comments, I just wanted to remind people, and some of them aren't here, whom I wanted to specifically remind, but the rules of procedure call for being recognized by the chair before you speak. And we had an incident at our last meeting that was out of order and caused some hurt feelings. So I just wanted to remind people of that. But are there any comments from the public? Yes, Gail Sorensen.
I would like to make a couple comments about reappointments.
Yes.
And I don't know whether you would like it now or when you're dealing with reappointments on the calendar a little bit later in the evening.
I think now would be fine.
Okay. I viewed on Brattleboro TV the meeting last time. And first of all, I want to state that I'm not an advocate for any candidate at all that was appointed. And I had some concerns about the DRB interview process. Zeke gave the DRB a clean bill of health from your viewpoint of your opening statement. And you went on to go ahead with interviews, or excuse me, with discussion about appointees. There was no comment at all until a member of the audience asked if there were any requests for reappointments. Everything that you were discussing to start with talked about the new people who had applied for appointments, though you did discuss alternates. Eventually, there were the appointments made, and there was absolutely no acknowledgement or thank you to the vice chair and chairperson of the DRB who you chose not to appoint. It was like they weren't in the room, they didn't count. It was almost like a backroom deal had been made because it wasn't talked about at all. And I'm just concerned about the process on this. And to my knowledge, there's been no public thank you to either of them. I think there was one correspondence from the chair to the chair thanking him for his service.
A letter went to both of them.
John, as of last night, had not received anything.
That's a public record.
Okay.
I have a copy.
Yeah, good. As of last night, he said he hasn't received anything. But it's been said that we want new people to get involved, and I'm totally supportive of that. But there's more ways of getting involved, and as opposed to appointing them the very first time they make a request for appointment. They can come to meetings and have input. And I know Sam, as you spoke, and I remember hearing him at several public hearings on the zoning bylaw. He has been active in that way. But I don't think either of those candidates, any of the three new candidates actually have shown any interest in the past, with the exception of Sam and his public testimony. They can get involved without being appointed the first time. And it makes me wonder, with people who are on committees or boards, and particularly one individual, the vice chair of the DRB, who was not reappointed, what do you have to do to get reappointed? Do you have to petition each person individually? Did you have, and I'm not asking you to answer these questions now, but it was kind of out of the clear blue sky that he was not reappointed, at least to those on the outside. So it makes me wonder then, what happens with other people if they ask for reappointment? particularly on boards that are more controversial. So that's one issue that I wanted to bring to you.
And I'll just clarify that both members of the DRB were invited to interview, and one declined and one wasn't available. He was, I sent a letter seeing if he wanted to submit a letter, but he declined to do that.
Well, maybe in the future you'll have everybody show up for interviews and not knowing how it will turn out. The second issue is on your Development Review Board, appointing a Planning Commission member as an alternate. Your interpretation was such that that could be appropriate to appoint a TRB member as, but if you read from the zoning bylaw, the board shall have 5 members, at least one of which shall also be a member of the Planning Commission, period. Term shall be for 3 years. The select board may also appoint 2 alternates to serve on the board in situations where one of the members of the board are disqualified or are otherwise unable to serve. So I think you need to rethink that in terms of the appointments. That really does need to be a planning commissioner as a regular member of the DRB.
Or, as Cindy Wilcox said in a letter, we could consider appointing a DRB member to the Planning Commission.
It would actually turn out to be the same. You'd have a DRB and a planning commission member if you did that. I read it the same way you did.
I know.
I read it the same way you did. I thought it should be a full member according to that.
That's what the zoning bylaw says.
Right. So at this point, what I would think we would have to do is take a DRB member that's on the DRB now and appoint them to the planning commission.
Oh, that's the easy way out, right?
Yeah, that would be the easiest way out. And it works out actually well now because I just saw it in front of me tonight. A member has resigned or sent in his resignation from the planning commission. So that would be, it would be the easy way out. And I mean, at this point.
Okay, so those were my concerns that I wanted to address. And thank you for the time.
Thank you. Any other public comment? All right, we'll go to farmland protection. Come right up.
We're really not that bad, really.
The oldest? It's really simple. But it doesn't have to be open that much, but please just leave it open a little. Thanks.
Oh, okay.
So what would you like to know? Oh, that's what we're representing to you.
Yes, how about that?
Well, you want to get started off with...
Sure. I mean, we want to thank you for taking some time to let us familiarize you with...
Can I just...
Sure.
Could you
introduce
yourselves, please?
Yep. Since there's been changes in your board, we wanted to let you know what we've been up to. So I'm Vern Grubinger. I'm one member of the Farmland Protection Committee. I used to be on the Planning Commission. I live on Hague Road.
I'm Jack Max. I'm a member of the Farmland Protection Committee. Yeah.
Our former.
Bill Schmidt, Farmland Protection.
So...
And maybe you'd like to introduce yourselves.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, I'm new. I'm Joe Cook.
Yeah.
I have 6 sheep. I want to know, what does it take to have a farm?
You're well on your way.
You should be on that list with the...
You can sell $1,000 worth of product a year. Census of Agriculture.
Steve Blayback.
Secret band?
Lewis White.
Bill Holiday.
Yes.
So yeah, we wanted to let you see our action plan that we developed last January, and we passed out at town meeting for some people, and also we revised the application. Well, the description of the fund in the application, no major changes, but I don't know if you folks even saw the original, so wanted to update you on that, and also about a possible permanent protection project in town.
Okay.
Yeah, we're real excited about, and I guess we can talk pretty much publicly about it now, is the Cassidy farm, or the former bunker farm. And we've been very lucky in that the land trust has put together a package that will make that available, hopefully, to a new young farmer or new old farmer. Or not discriminating against age. But I think one of the things that I'm excited about is it's a plan, a funding plan that was put together that I think will keep a lot of people happy and will show other farmers that you don't have to sacrifice your equity to save your land. I think this is a really well-rounded program that satisfies the landowner, hopefully will satisfy the farmer, and if we, we're going to need to put all the pieces together still, which there's some funding from the Vermont Land Trust, and there'll be some, hopefully you will agree, we'll seek your approval for some funding from the Farmland Protection Fund. Not a whole lot, but not all of it, I should say. And then there'll be some private funding and some campaigns to raise public funds. So we'll get to see maybe who in town is really supportive of open lands and a chance to take this beautiful farm and protect it forever. And it's sort of a cornerstone, I think, and a nice historical piece of Dummerston, and a really beautiful spot. So it's you know, we were lucky enough to get the Ranny Farm saved. Thanks a lot of hard work by Bill, and now we have another opportunity here to get another beautiful farm protected and help preserve our rural character, which is always like after speeding on local roads, which is always very popular among the townspeople. Patrolling speeding on local roads, I should say.
Did you folks get the revised?
It was in our packet.
Yeah, I copied one, I know.
Yeah, I brought some extras. So I just wanted to back up a little and say the purpose of the fund is to protect agricultural land in town for agricultural use. And there are a bunch of criteria that have to be looked at that show it's meeting some of the benefits that people would want, from aesthetics to food production, etc. And that our capacity is just advisory. Your board would sign off on any use of the funds, and I think since the fund will never be gigantic, even if there were more additions annually, the idea was to leverage other funds in a situation like this, where this will be a project of hundreds of thousands of dollars altogether, and it will be federal and state money and private philanthropy, and if the fund were to be approved by you guys for contributing, it would be more as a symbolic gesture that the town is on board and approves and endorses the project, but a pretty important gesture as far as the land trust. Once they're going to own the farm, and then they're going to have to raise all this additional money to buy down the difference between the market value and the conserved value that a young farmer or a old new farmer would buy it at. And they have a whole process for seeking, people. They've done this before. This access to farm program they have, where they buy a farm, they conserve it, and then they put up basically calls for proposals to see who's got a business plan and who could actually stay on that farm and make the payments and make a living. And there have been some great projects around the state who've done that. So I just want to point out that that's one approach in our action plan, which I think you also got, but I have copies here too. Conserving land is one piece of it, and how could the fund take applications and help to do that. The other thing would be, how can we get a new farmer on town farming on somebody's land that they're not going to sell it, they just like to see it farmed. And so we'd like to have a role in educating landowners about this is what it would take to actually entice a new farmer, and help to understand what kind of agreements you'd have to have for somebody to be successful on your land, and what you have to put up with, what limits you could set, what they're going to be looking for. And maybe there's some way to even help that happen with monies from the fund if someone were to apply, like, I don't know, to fix up a barn on their, to help the new farmer fix up a barn on their property, or, I don't know what they would put in for, but this is one thing we're sort of thinking out loud in this action plan. How could we contribute to that process to sort of incentivize a landowner to put up with a new farmer coming on? And the last piece is hayland. We've got a lot of open, quote-unquote, marginal land in town that, you know, Wayne and a lot of other people have been cutting, and we'd just like to see that land remain used and hay being produced. And is there some way, again, a landowner could understand they're not going to make money on that, but it's a service being provided by somebody, and maybe the fund could be used to contribute to fertilizer costs or something for a new person trying to start a hay business in town, if that's what's going to take to keep this land open. And one thing we've talked about is trying to understand, so who is out there doing all this land and what's going to happen when Wayne retires. And
We're gonna mow more.
yeah, so, but
Right,
these-
Rand?
so anyway, this is a draft, and you know, we'd appreciate any comments from you about what you think works, what doesn't, how to improve it. But the conservation piece is probably the most powerful, because Jack alluded to, that's what's really going to keep land in production
So,
for the long term.
I think that, you know, just to make it clear, we're in an exciting time in Vermont agriculture. Vern will tell you that, you know, in the old days there were, relative, in the 70s and 80s, it seemed like there was a lot of land and the farmers were elderly and there wasn't a lot of farmers coming along. Well, we've done an excellent job of growing new farmers in this state, so it's an exciting time for a lot of young people getting into it. So now we need to find the places for them to farm, and that's kind of exciting that they're, you know, we used to have a bunch of dairy farmers in town and a bunch of different agriculture enterprises, like back in the 1800s, 1700s, and now we're starting to attract new small CSAs and beef producers and goat cheese and all kinds of things like that. So to make this, you know, it's really hard to get the money to start something like this. So the value of the farm that the landowner gets up here and what the young farmer pays is like down here, you know, and that in between is made up by the funding. So, because somebody's not going to, you know, young farmer's not going to be able to come and buy a market value farm, and you're going to find very few landowners that are going to want to sacrifice their equity just to protect their farm. Some do, and that's great. But this way, it's fair to the landowner and it's fair to the young farmer, and hopefully townspeople can and private donors can see the value of the open space and preserving the land and keeping taxes down by having that open land and contributing to this. So that's, you know, what we're hoping for.
What's the timeline for conserving the bunker?
Well, I mean, Joan Weir came and met with us and gave us general ideas. I think our hope is she'll come and meet with you soon and give you actual number. I mean, we're not in the know of the specifics, but she did say, you know, they hope to get a farmer on the land for this season, but they would be renting from the land trust, and that they hope to have all their funding together and all the paperwork and actually close a year from now, so that the new farmer would own that farm next April. That's if all. But so the land trust is actually taking a risk, and you know, they're going to buy this farm and then add a market value of whatever they negotiate, and then
value.
Yeah.
The farm value.
well, they're buying it at the market value, and then they have to raise all the funds to be able to sell it at the market value. So, I mean, the fundraising campaign would be for the Vermont Land Trust.
But they're planning on having some open houses. Didn't you say the
Yeah.
beginning of May or end of April?
Yeah. So for farmers,
for young farmers, that they'll submit a plan,
Yeah.
a business plan, and it sounds like it'll be pretty competitive, and whoever can, they figure has the best chance of success and has the
and
funding.
there's some examples that farm up in the Scutney, Weathersfield had, I mean, John Cohen moved up from Paul Harlow's land in Westminster up to there, and there's another one, Elmer Farm in East Middlebury, and the Dave Zuckerman in Huntington, and there's one up in Grand Isle, the Sawyer Farm. So this, I think this is the 5th or 6th project like this. Normally, you know, the land trust has never, I used to be on their board, and they've never owned farms, they just help people sell conservation rights. But for these smaller, diversified farms, this is a different strategy to buy it. I mean, she said they have a pool of, I think she said 200 units of
It's over 100.
Yeah, I mean, they have a list of potential farmers they've already been vetting that are looking for land, and again, it's pretty rigorous because it doesn't just say, you don't just say, I want to buy this farm, you actually apply, and then they review the business plan. So usually the 4 or 5 finalists, any of them would probably be successful because they're the cream of the crop. So it'll be interesting to see, they don't script what kind of an operation it's going to be. I imagine people will propose, that's not going to be a row crop farm, probably be animals, sugaring, who knows what the mix will be, but
Somebody could be crazy enough to do an orchard.
That disqualifies them. They'd be crazy.
and other, in other cases, existing farms nearby have applied. It's open, anybody can apply. It's not only new farmers, but it'd be exciting to get somebody that actually has an intention of being a commercial farmer on that land.
Yeah, on your timeline question, so the land trust has a contract with the Cassidys to purchase the farm. And they are in the process of seeing a second appraisal on the property being completed by the end of this month. The second appraisal is the fair market value of the farm as is, with no restrictions taken off, as is. And it's a rigorous appraisal, very rigorous, because it has to be done to federal standards, NRCS standards. So when they get that figure, then they will have the information they need to make a formal application to the Housing and Conservation Board and NRCS for state and federal funds. And that application will go in July. Meanwhile, as Vern indicated, the land trust in May and June will be seeking a farmer from this pool of possibilities that they have. And that every applicant will have to submit a business plan for the farm, what they want to do with it, and demonstrate that they've got the means to buy it. So it's pretty hard-nosed in terms of what they have to come up with, very detailed. And then over the summer, the land trust will be seeking additional funding beyond the state and federal from some private foundations. And also during the summer, the new farmer will be given a lease to begin work on the farm. That may happen, earlier than later once they choose the person. And then in the fall, there will be a public fundraising effort to raise the remaining monies between what can be gotten from state, federal foundations, and it will be a sizable amount. And we're hoping that some money from the town farmland fund will go into the local share, and it would be helpful to have that be considered by you sooner than later, to let all of the other state, federal, private foundations know that the town's behind it. And then, the local funding effort will go on through the fall and maybe into early winter, and hopefully by next April, as Vern said, everything will be done and the farm can be formally transferred to the new farmer. This is a brochure on the farmland access fund.
Okay.
The thing too to remember is that sometimes business plans don't go as expected, but if they were not to succeed, or the farm would not be sold for development, it's always protected and would go another farmer.
So procedurally, I think I'd suggest you consider this. One thing would be to approve this revision of the farmland fund description and application, just so we know we can move forward based on what this says. It's not that different from the original, but I think that would be good to have it formally okayed by you or changed in any way that you want to change. And then in here, one thing it says is the eligibility is any Dummerston landowner or official landowner representative. So the committee isn't going to be the applicant. I think we would write you a letter stating our position of support for the project, and then I'm assuming the land trust would be the applicant or their representative, and you would deal with that application and have our letter on file.
I think Joan Lear would like to meet with you once things settle down more, if they choose a farmer, ideally even bring the farmer to the meeting. You can meet him or her and discuss the situation, and at that point you should have sufficient information. We'll be doing the application or helping the land trust prepare the application, and you would be in a position to act on it at that point.
Yeah, and you'll have a better idea of the exact breakdown of the funding.
Are you involved in helping the land trust with the choosing of a?
Well, John Ramsey coordinates that whole program, so he's already gone through this selection vetting process several times. He will call outside people for advice once in a while, so I've been calling a couple where they ask me, what do you think of this applicant, or do they have a good track record, or do you think they could succeed? But I've not been on they have an internal committee on the land trust that does that.
It may be, and this is just a spur of the moment thought, that they, since the Dummerston has a farmland committee, they may be interested in having the prospect meet with the committee and just getting whatever thoughts we have.
Right, I
afterward.
think that would be good.
Yeah, well, I think you could also, one thing I was thinking, this could be sort of informal in the beginning, because just them knowing the sentiments of the committee and the select board would be helpful. And you could even make, the actual fund dispersal contingent on
Giving
them raising. Well, no, them raising, them, it would be awkward to put funding in and then the project doesn't come through, so raising sufficient funds to close or something like that. I mean, the land trust is gonna make it happen one way or the other, because they're not gonna own that farm. They're gonna keep raising money till it's just hopefully it happens within that time frame. But, Joan was quite clear. Everyone's invited to those open houses, both in the beginning when they're showing the farm, but then they hope to have open houses with the new farmer to kind of drum up support that, hey, here's a real person and here's what they're doing, and hopefully that'll be exciting to the town.
I have a couple of questions. Do I understand that, and I'm new to all of this, have there been no grants yet from the Farm Protection Fund?
This is true. There are, I think there's about 40,000 now. There was an original tax sale, Maple Valley, that started it, and then there was 2,500, 5,000 put in. We've had one application, I think. I mean, part of it is there hasn't been a project, and in the beginning, until recently, there wasn't really enough money to do anything, and now it's kind of exciting that we're at the stage to.
There was one very loose application.
Wasn't that written in crayon?
It just about was without the.
It was not from the
party's consent.
actual landowner, so that's.
And I guess at town meeting, the voters voted to appropriate an additional amount.
Last year.
Yeah.
That was last year, okay.
5,000 this year.
There was additional funds
In the
this year.
budget, right, yeah.
Right,
2,500 went in this year.
Yes.
right, okay. And I guess my question of all of you is, and you'd have a better appreciation than I would of the significance of this farm. What would be your recommendation, of the, with these funds that we have? Should we appropriate, upwards of half?
Well, we had talked about, and I guess we didn't actually put it in here, but sort of as a rule of thumb, that half should be the maximum allotment at any one time, just so.
Yeah, we don't want to drain the fund with one project,
And,
right?
and again, when you're talking a multiple $100,000 project, I don't know if 20,000 or 30,000, if it makes, it's not going to make a difference to probably the final accounting. It's more that it's
It's a signal.
it's not a couple $1,000s.
Right,
It's
exactly,
okay.
yeah.
It's tens of
It's
thousands.
like when the town donates to charities.
Right.
Mhm.
That opens up a lot of doors for good fun.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, I hope this builds momentum, that people see, oh, this fund is useful for helping other projects to happen and, you know, continue to contribute and sort of keep it at a big enough level to have an impact on these kind of projects without always starting from zero.
Any other questions for our Farmland Protection Committee?
No, I think it's great that we are able to protect a valuable farm to the town, so good. I think you've done well.
One related item. We asked the Emergency Management Director to give you a list of livestock, people with livestock in town who might want to come back if there was a radiological evacuation. And the list had been sort of outdated and it's been revised a little, but we thought that of the boards and committees in town, you might be the appropriate one to help, you know, take a look at it. And have you seen that yet?
No, well, I've seen it in previous years.
Oh, yeah, administration.
But, yeah, that, we recently revised our LISA, we did a lot of work updating the farmland pieces in town, so we probably could handle that. But I'm wondering, is the cutoff on that like 6 sheep?
Joe's got 7, so I think
I'm just wondering the same thing.
If he wants to come back,
Then everybody's got like a chicken or something like that too. But
As many as he could fit in the back of his car.
What is the purpose of that? For people to evacuate there?
to come back into,
Oh,
if the,
Yeah.
after.
you need to shelter your livestock
yeah,
during an
and you have
emergency,
to
and you have to then the
come
National
through
Guard,
the
right?
the
will let you through
roadblock that we will
feed
be
their stock.
maintaining. Yeah,
So you need a list.
yeah.
Well, they have the list, but they'll give the list to us and we'll just verify that.
Yes,
Right.
or maybe
did Larry, I'm sorry.
just a few additions if you know.
Yeah. Something else,
I didn't think it was a comprehensive list.
Oh.
I mean, is there a threshold for animal units? Probably important. I mean, I have 5 chickens. I can't imagine
Well,
I'd get right back in.
would you want to come back?
So take them with you.
I actually hope they die, but that's... Don't tell my wife.
Well, remember, we are on
You're on
TV.
TV.
Too late.
Your wife already knows.
I don't think she'll be surprised.
You can stay with us.
Did Larry catch up with, Lynch was gonna visit with you about that. Did he get a chance to? I thought he said he...
Yeah, actually, I think he was going to just offer. He might have.
Okay.
give
Okay,
some-
well, expect, just
Yeah.
like expect a visit.
I'll be looking forward to
And
it.
one of the things Jack mentioned, that LISA list, which is the
Yeah.
soils evaluation updated, we should probably make sure you have a copy when you do look at any of these applications, because that is
Yeah.
one important way of evaluating any land
That's where we
that's
put
under
the-
consideration.
Value the farmland to a certain criteria. I don't know if you know about the LISA list.
It's a 20-year-old process that the Natural Resource Conservation Service started, and it updated the owner list, but it's partly size of the parcel, but the quality of the soil, and then, you know, slope and the exposure, basically how...
There was like 10 criteria.
Yeah, how valuable is it for
what
farming?
the farm was judged, and then we sort of ranked them, and those are sort of what we try to go for the top 20 or something to protect.
Well, actually, no, I think NRCS ranked, and we just updated the ownership names, and, I mean, we didn't change any of the order.
Well, what happened was we gave, when we did the original program, we gave them, we assessed them on 1 to 10 on all the criteria, then we added it all up,
Mhm.
and that determined their rank.
There was a regional staff person,
Mhm.
Greg Fetterspiel, of the regional commission, that did the legwork on it. And a committee, a local committee, Jack was on it, I was on it, and some others, and then, NRCS did the final scoring.
Anyway, it's pretty interesting, because you look at the language in the town plan, and we want to protect working lands and farms, but when it comes right down to it, there are not that many parcels in town, actually, that are viable agriculturally.
Mhm.
Any other questions from the work board?
I'm wondering, any questions from the public? No? Okay.
So if we wait till next meeting to go over that and then make our,
Yeah.
to move it and stuff, that'd be fine with you guys?
Yeah, be just good if you're okay or feedback on that
Trying
plan.
to read it now, you probably want to go home eventually.
I wasn't looking at the clock.
And then I know Joan would like to come in and provide you
Sure.
details on that project sometime.
Right. We'll schedule her sometime when she's ready.
She'll be in contact with us when she wants to come in.
Yeah.
So I have the, this revised 12113 Farmland Protection Fund. What am I missing? Just the application?
That's on the second page. Oh, did I not?
Okay, okay.
Is it
So I
on?
need more, okay.
Maybe my stapling technology. You don't have the application there?
Didn't call it well.
And it might be me, not you.
I think.
Yeah, so fill that out if you're applying.
No, I don't think I'm applying, no.
See, I'm glad you're paying attention because it's a critical part.
Okay, good.
Good.
Well,
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you all.
putting us first and allowing us to get home on the road.
You're our top priority.
That is exciting.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much.
Feel free to strike my chicken remark.
Talk to the next
Sorry,
guy.
it's going to be on headlines of the Brattleboro paper. Hague Road farmer says, won't save my chickens. Highway report. Is Lee Chamberlain here? Yes. Well, come right up.
Okay.
We were going to try to do this in less than
44.
45 minutes.
Yes. I was told I speak slow. So, all right. We can start with the curb cut.
Okay.
I looked at it. It's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. The highway and bridge standards.
They need to vote on it.
Yeah. Well, we have a curb cut here. Everyone's.
Oh, all right.
I move we approve the curb cut for James Spencer on Stickney Brook Road.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. That's done.
Next time you can have discussion.
Oh, discussion.
Yes, I haven't, no, they haven't come this way yet.
Hey, you're taking up my time. He's skipping over like I used to.
All right. All
All
right.
right. Sorry.
These details.
All right, the highway bridge report, or the bridge standards, or the highway standards.
Yep.
I had two changes I put in there. We did have a road foreman's meeting, and they were talking about this, and we can actually change anything that we would like. We need this in place if our roads do get washed out,
Okay.
then they can get repaired, and they will only repair it to that standard. Are we looking at the same one? Or is it?
I think this is the same one. This is.
Does it have white out in my handwriting?
Yeah, that was the one I looked at
It's
today.
18
Okay.
inches. Change the culverts.
Yes, because that's our town standard. Is we don't have any 15-inch culverts. All driveway culverts.
Okay.
Minimum is 18.
And
And
there was a 6-inch
6
change on top
inches.
gravel.
yeah, instead of 3-inch.
Yep.
Okay.
At some point, if we even wanted to put fabric in on all new roads, we could do that. But I figure for this time, those are the only two changes. So,
Okay. Do you want us to approve this?
yes, please.
I just have a question, Lee. On page 1, it mentioned about berms along the roadway shoulder that prevent proper sheeting of water must be removed.
Yeah. They're talking double ditching,
Oh, okay.
like even the grader operator not going all the way to the edge.
Okay.
There are berms in town we don't remove. And like they said, this standard is just
Okay.
the generic standard. It doesn't mean you have to actually do.
Oh, I'd like you to remove all
Like
of
when-
I can, so.
Oh, I know, I would
Okay.
too, but
Yeah, okay,
of course some spots,
Right,
you know how that
yeah.
goes.
okay. No, I just wanted to ask
Yeah.
about that, okay.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, any other? Well, do we have a motion to?
I'll move we approve, or accept, what's the proper term? Accept the town road and bridge standards that Lee's presented.
I'd second that.
Discussion.
Also?
Sure.
This
All
time.
right, okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Okay.
You all need to sign that. Really.
The covered bridge work. I heard the check's in the mail. And so,
That was last week.
yeah, exactly, that's what I told you. Yeah, I did ask Pam and Lori tonight, and supposedly it's in the mail.
Would you check the mailbox on your way out?
Yes. And the work is being getting scheduled by Renard's. It's just a matter of he's figuring everything out, time frame. He will let, I did mention to him about the paper and letting them know for any closures. He's going to let the select board know, when those will be. I'm hoping we'll get at least like a week's notice to get it out there, but I think I hope we get the check. All right. On the Dutton Farm Road structure, we did end up meeting down there, and I did end up getting 3 hourly rates for the Dutton Farm. I don't know if everyone saw them in there. They're all fairly close. A.S. Clark was
Should I recuse? I
lowest.
probably should recuse myself from this.
Oh, okay, we have in here from looks like that's.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we've got 4.
But those aren't bid, those aren't considered
Oh,
bids.
no, they're just lists of.
Yeah.
Right.
All we did was just go outright wages. Yeah.
But if I'm gonna bid, I should stay out of the discussion.
I guess I didn't see Steve's. I didn't know it was even in there.
It came in at 5.
Oh, okay. But I would like to still go with A.S. Clark's. When Zeke and I talked down there, we decided to get the 3 prices, just to make sure everyone was in the ballpark. And for the next one, next structure we do, we're definitely going to have to look at it a little bit different. Or get everyone's feelings first, or make sure everyone's on the same page first. But, okay,
We should look at that. You should look at
Okay.
it too.
I do feel that, even the hourly prices, we talked about hourly prices down there when Steve and Zeke and I met. So I can look at it, but
Steve, is yours with an operator on those pieces of equipment?
Yeah.
Okay, this is
yeah, I just feel that
short
it,
notice.
yeah, I still would, I'm gonna stay with my,
So you'd like a motion on this tonight to,
Yes, I guess so. I'd like to look at it.
yeah, I was gonna say,
So, do you want to take some time and just look at this and see if
Oh,
it's
I
apples and apples to
Yeah,
apples?
I'm not sure on Steve's, how many
There's-
pound machine is that?
There's a, one contractor.
15 or 16 to 120.
15 ton.
Right, yeah. I think it's 28 or 29,000.
And Clark's is a 40,000, but I still, I'll just reiterate, there's too many figures going around down there, and just, I mean, I don't mind talking about it.
I'll make a motion that we go with the A.S. Clark and Sons for the project on the road.
I guess I would second that motion.
Discussion. Yes.
May I ask, what is the total amount of money that you're talking about?
Not to exceed 20,000.
And-
That's the high side of it. They're doing everything that we can't do, put it that way. So they're just helping us on pretty much every aspect.
Okay, and with that amount of money, you didn't put it out for a formal bid?
No.
It's. You want me to explain it a little more, or?
Yeah, if you would,
All right,
please.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's by the hour.
yeah.
So, and we needed a price to give to the state for the project. So that's where the 20,000 came in. I don't believe it's going to be nearly that.
Okay.
On the last one, it wasn't. It was a $120,000 project. We came in at 80, maybe 90 or maybe 90.
Right.
So we saved 30,000 by doing it this way.
Okay.
That's why everything is by the hour. The concrete,
Okay.
the excavator, the
And is this predominantly reimbursed by the state? Or
yes.
is-
It's
Yes. This is the third type of grant that we've done
Okay.
of this.
Okay, so,
Magnitude.
okay, it's a grant
Yeah.
application.
Mhm.
Okay.
and that's why we have to go. I don't want to make it sound like you have to go high, but you can't be low, put it that way. And then the state will only reimburse us for what we actually spend on the project.
Okay. I was not clear, and I had concerns just in terms of a potential
Oh,
board
yes.
board policy on what is the level that you put projects out to bid, and I wasn't clear on that, so thank you.
Okay. So we have a motion on the floor. And it's been seconded to go with A.S. Clark. Is there any other discussion? So, this one is lower.
Yes.
It's, again, it's different equipment too. That's why we asked them what size equipment it was.
It's
Yeah.
just a smaller machine.
And it's, yeah. You got a question?
Steve, may I
Yes.
ask a
Yeah,
question?
yeah.
While I appreciate the fact that Steve recused himself from this discussion, he was part of the meeting at the site
Mhm,
where prices and different costs were discussed.
mhm.
And since the board is trying to avoid any semblance of or illusion of conflict of interest, I think that will be perceived as a conflict of interest.
Okay. So, any more discussion? All right, all those in, motion is to have Clark do the work. All those in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Aye. So we have a majority.
Okay. The next thing I have was The tractor, we're planning on sending it out to bid tomorrow. The plan is still the same, in 2 weeks, getting it back. The bid's back, looking over for 2 weeks before we award it. So I'd like to put the specs out to bid tomorrow. I did have 3 dealers. Yeah, I didn't write them down. Pinnacle View, Chapel Tractor, and Town Line. And if anyone else has another one that they'd like me to send them out to, I really don't mind. And if there's anything that you see what we want to change on it, I wouldn't mind to know that too.
Okay, everyone okay with this?
I had a couple questions. What's the model number, Lee? Was it a 6040 or a 6060?
6060.
It is a 6060.
That's the new
Yes.
version of a 6040.
Yeah.
And we're not pricing a loader on that, I see.
No. No, I did have the weight set back on the front. LED warning light. Yep. That. But other than that, it was the same that we had talked about. Definitely feel, yeah.
Okay, you don't need a motion on this.
No, I don't think so. All right. We did meet at the cemetery. Can we talk about cemetery too?
Sure, yeah,
Okay.
sure.
We did meet at the cemetery on North Farm Road today.
Yeah.
Go over which stumps.
We have
Oops.
a committee member?
Yeah. And what we were hoping to do was have the bid specs to the select board for the next meeting. See if there's anything else we want to do different on that. Originally, we were talking about putting it out to, I believe there's 6 or 7 contractors in town, contacting all them and giving it to them. That was a pre-bid inspection meeting. Is that what it's called, Steve, when you meet at a project? But we definitely want to have that. And we'll know by next meeting, you know, what the dates are on that.
Okay.
Just so everybody's on the same page.
So everyone will get an
Exactly.
invitation.
Yes.
Okay.
And this was one of the questions, and Steve and Maria might know. We had seed fertilize, mulch, seed fertilize, mulch and lime. Should we have a poundage on that? Or is there like a,
No,
or you
because
just kind of,
there's recommendations that you usually would adhere to anyway.
okay, so everybody would know pretty much that? Or I was just wondering how to word that or we were wondering how to word that. I just want it to be
Adequate.
You're right, exactly.
You can-
And
you
it's no
can
time like.
Ask them to
present do it.
specify in their bid what rates they're going to use.
All right.
That might be a good way to do it.
All right,
But generally, when you're reseeding or new seeding, there's pretty standard rate anyway.
okay. All right. Well,
Right,
hopefully
you
we'll.
might want a certain grass mix rather than
You may-
alfalfa
Yeah.
and,
Yeah, and if anybody knows which, I mean, we use conservation mix,
Yeah.
just what we use. But if there's something that's better for like a cemetery,
I would
we're
think
definitely looking for ideas, put it that way.
I would just list conservation mix because
Oh,
it's
okay.
going to give you your
All right,
annuals to get started quickly and your perennials to come in later.
rise.
okay. Sounds good. All right, I don't believe I forgot anything. Oh, I can give a little bit of an overview of what we're doing. We have like another week of grading to make it around once. Granted, some of the roads are where the mud was still coming out, or the frost, I should say. Everything's looking good. It was our best mud season since I've been, well, best mud season I've ever seen. So we got into the carpenter pit on the 15th, so we're actually hauling sand also up to the garage, stockpiling. The Ford 07, the 550, the serpentine belt, we won that the other day, and Marty's going to come up to the garage and work on that, and we'll have a guy helping him. We think maybe the water pump might have went, but we won't really know until we get down in there, so there is some expense coming there. It says a 4-hour job, but it always turns into a 6 or 8. But
Lee, can I ask, why was it such a mild mud season? Was this a reflection of all the hard work and base preparation, or is it the weather?
I think a lot of it we do. Yeah. Well, we do everywhere it's bad. We mark it down and we try to fix it next year in the summer. With under drain, you've seen us doing that. And we did some fabric last year for the first time ever. Had 2 potholes in it, so I was happy there on our worst mud spot up on Sunset Lake Road. But I think for the most part, I think every town down low lucked out.
My son's upstate, and he says it was just awful.
Yeah, and even up high, and well, some other towns I've heard that they had some, but I don't think Putney had a lot, and I don't think we did. But we'll just hope.
It's just the luck of the draw, the way the frost comes out of the ground and the way the temperatures.
Yeah.
Good gravel practice, but you're at the fate of Mother Nature too.
Yep. Yep.
Well, good.
All right.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Lee?
60 minutes.
Well, you got your... Do we have any Renault gravel pit updates?
No, we don't. We're still waiting.
All right. What about, what's that business with the, we're waiting on Corey to reapply to the DRB for
the fence. Yeah.
Okay.
And I know I spoke with him about it, and I don't.
Charlotte did too.
Charlotte did too. Yeah.
She did.
So he is well aware of that. I think he was waiting to get the wastewater permit he was looking for, or the stormwater runoff permit.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then he said we should get the Act 250 soon after that.
All right. Correspondence for information. So anything there that correspondence for discussion or action? And there's nothing on my agenda. Is there anything on yours?
There isn't, it's blank.
So unfinished business, appointments, reappointments. We have that note from Bill Holiday that,
Larry Cassidy.
right. What was that board?
The Vermont Community Development Program.
Okay. All right.
And Layla Lewis said she would do 1 more year on the rec board, and Joe Williams said no.
Okay.
Oh, really?
So her boys are in 6th grade this year. So beginning of next year they'll be in 7th grade, and they won't be there. So we do have to, I think, put something out to see if we can get some people in.
More on the rec.
That leaves us with only 2 people on the rec board now.
Layla and
Ruth Barton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You could ask to have something put in the school newsletter that goes home.
No, that'd be good.
Can you do that?
I can. Yep.
Right.
Good, good. All right. Let's see. We could, okay, sort of related, we could, we got a resignation from Steve Gladbeck.
Yeah, I think we should table that until the next meeting, just because we didn't get it until 5 o'clock this afternoon, or I didn't see it until I was sitting at the
Yeah.
meeting, so
Okay,
I would suggest that we just,
table that, okay. Any big planning commission meetings between now and?
There is one next week, yeah, I'd be glad to go, but
All right, okay, then we'll just table that for our next meeting. And let's see, so we have the EMD assistant is still up in, we haven't reappointed anyone or appointed anyone on that.
okay.
Is there anything you want to do on that?
I'll make a motion that we reappoint Larry Lynch as the assistant EMD.
Yeah, I would second it.
Okay, we have a second discussion.
I think Larry's been doing a good job, and he's, I haven't heard any complaints about him. He's been doing it for years, and I would think he'd, continue to do a good job.
I haven't seen any other applications come in. And Rick Davis, if he wanted someone else, I would have thought that he, because we're in reappointment season, he'd let us know, so. So, is there any other discussion? We could vote on Layla Lewis for the rec board, Larry Cassidy, and
Larry Lynch.
Larry Lynch.
So is that an amendment to Lewis's?
That would be a friendly amendment?
Yeah, I'll accept it.
Okay. And your second?
I'll second it.
Okay.
Sure.
Any further discussion? Then all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. And we're tabling Steve
So
Devick's resignation.
will one of you call Larry tonight to let him know that he was reappointed?
Larry Lynch, yes.
Yeah.
If you'd like, I'd found.
That'd be great.
Thank you.
All right. So, under new business, update on the T-ball.
mediation, yeah.
The, I spoke with the attorney, French, and there was a postponement. We agreed to postpone the e-court hearing. So we just need to decide when we should get going on this mediation. And the T-Bows sent us a note saying they weren't going to be available on a couple of dates here, which I have written down and can find. But we'll have to decide who wants to be involved, whether the whole board will be involved.
I'll recuse myself from this process, seeing so I've taken Mr. French on as an attorney, so.
Okay. So, what are your thoughts? You want to be?
I can't think of a reason why I would recuse myself, so
Okay.
I think I'd like to be.
How many are you looking for?
More the merrier. As we haven't done this before,
Right.
we don't know what the optimal number is. Charlotte has agreed to be part of the process.
Well, I guess I'd like to do it. I am going to be away for the next meeting, so
Okay.
I don't know what the timing would be.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to, with the dates, the T-Bows were not going to be available. They're going to be away for part of May. And if I knew these folders better, I'd be able to lay my hands right on it, but
Under unfinished business.
I wrote it in my other notebook.
Should be under unfinished business in that folder.
It was the old, they were going to be, wait, the 9th of May, then
9th of May
from the
and
11th to
Through the
19th.
19th.
11th through 19th. Yeah.
Okay, good memory. So probably we could maybe check with them, their attorney, and see if that following week, the week of the 20th, might work for them.
Sure.
So, yes.
I believe if you check on that, they've already rescheduled one hearing, and the next hearing is coming up for May. So you're asking them to reschedule another hearing is what I'm pretty sure is going to be happening if you go out, because I think their next hearing is scheduled for May.
Before the 9th, then. We need to do it, it's the 17th now. Well, we have close to 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we'd have 3 weeks. Let's try to do it that last week of April or first week of May. Just any time before the 9th of May. Let's try that.
I will not be available.
Oh, that whole time?
Yes.
Ah, okay. Let me check with Bill Holliday and see what his schedule is. So, why don't I check with him? Yes.
Yeah. Is there an issue with a majority of the board meeting with them and that being perceived as a,
That was my question.
a full board meeting? And I don't
That's
know.
a good question.
I don't know what the
I
answer
was
is to
gonna
that.
ask that too.
So you think we should do less than a quorum?
Yeah.
Okay. Then maybe that's what we'll do.
And if Bill would rather serve than me, whatever, whatever.
Okay, so I'll check
I'm happy
with
to
Bill
help, but if-
on his schedule,
Yeah.
Charlotte, and I'll contact the T-Bo's lawyer and try to get something, still in April. That's what I'll do. And
Were you planning to be involved?
I was. And I'll keep you all informed of if we get a date or any progress that we make. All right.
If we're serving as a mediation board, I guess it might not hurt to check with VLCT and see if when we're serving as a mediation, we're not paying bills or voting on select board business. It might pay to check with VLCT and see if we in fact could have 3 of us on it. That's all I was thinking.
Okay. I'll
I
check.
mean, I can or you can. Probably you got a better.
Sure. Speed dial.
Yeah. It might be that we're not performing. That it would be worth checking into.
But you're still dealing with business of the board and of the town. And
Yes, I think
constituting
the
a
board,
quorum.
voted to enter into mediation.
Yeah.
So,
Right, yeah.
So it might be just as simple as posting a thing that we're meeting. So.
okay, new business. We're going to open and possibly award bid for the town office roof.
And I have bid sheets for you,
Excellent. Okay.
and here's a opener.
The letter opener, all right. This is really good.
Oh wow.
And the letter opener, Bill, here's one for you. There. All right.
Lewis, you decided not to bid it.
No, I've got things going on, so.
No.
Okay, Ted Ferguson. All right. Okay. He's saying $12,290. Blue Jay Home. Blue Jay Home Needs. 13,350. And this is Travis Slade. I'm assuming there's no.
Yeah, that's what I assumed too.
Travis Slade, 8,860. Okay, one more. This one comes with a folder with samples, so I think this one's going to be a little pricey, but we'll see. Okay. 12,000. And this is Fennel. Fennel.
Finale.
Fennel.
Yeah, he pronounces it Fennel.
Fennel, 12,000 even. So, the thing here is just to make sure everyone's quoting the same. Did you look at this one?
No, I haven't.
We have what, Laura, is it 9,000 in the capital funds?
Yes.
9,000, wow.
That's what we budgeted.
I think we've seen.
I've seen them all.
Okay. Would you like to look at the,
Actually, I have that. He did, I wrote a couple years ago. Thank you.
happy with the work?
Yeah, we are.
Who did you work with?
For now.
Oh, okay. I'm missing Ferguson and Travis.
Nope, sorry.
Well, this is gonna make exciting viewing on TV.
I know, our ratings are going to.
Yeah, they're gonna plummet, aren't they?
Yeah. Okay, if we don't want, we could save $100 on this Travis Slade if we decide we don't want.
Vented ridge cap.
Yeah. Do you know them?
They're from Putney, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Travis mentions the issue with the vented ridge, and here they're recommending the vented ridge. What's your thought, Louis? Would we have gable end vents now?
See, I wouldn't go with the vented roof. I would do like Travis. I would do it like Travis would do it.
Just stay with our gable fence.
Yeah. But
Yeah, I'd almost rather see us close the gable vents and put on a ridge vent.
yeah, I mean, if you did
It would
it,
be better, yeah.
you did it that way, that would be.
Right, yeah.
All right, gentlemen, you've looked through the bids. Have any questions about them? Feel ready to award, accept a contract here?
Well, I like the. Can we keep discussing?
Yeah,
Should we
yeah,
have-
yeah.
I like Travis that he picked up on the roof vent. I would still like to see us ridge vented. I mean, I think certainly there's 3 good bids here at least, so.
Well, I think if you wanted to do the ridge vent, you'd have to do something
Close those off.
right, close those off, and then I think you'd be all set to do the ridge vent. But you don't want both.
So we'd ask for a price to,
Yeah, because that wasn't in the bid specs.
right.
Yeah. Well, maybe the smallest of the, skinniest of the select board, goes up into the crawl space and, or maybe we flip a coin and,
I like the smallest guy, but
or sometimes a new guy.
Yeah, the new guy doesn't have many extra duties.
I like that too. The
Yeah.
goals meeting next week.
I don't know if we're in a hurry or not. I don't know. I just feel like, should we talk to Travis ahead of time to see what his thoughts would be about closing those invents off, or?
yeah, I didn't go up there and look at
Yeah.
what we had up there for. I just knew that we had that, and I'm like, there's no need to.
But with the chimney and everything, you got quite a heat trap right there in the ridge.
You know.
Boy, I don't know. Where'd Travis's go? Could I just read his again?
Yeah, yeah.
Make sure we had everything covered. He does have 9 feet of the ice and snow belt, which would include the porch area
Right.
up above that. 3 feet all the way around the chimney. Triflex 30 underlayment. What's your thoughts, Lewis?
What I would think is we move to, well, I'll actually move that we have Travis Slade do it with the condition we talk to him about what his thoughts are on, you know.
Whether we send the new guy or,
Right, we send the new guy or the
Or
old
the
guy.
chair, or...
You know, up on top. But I would say we would go with him, and if we, you know, if you want to do both, I just wouldn't. I just don't think you want to do both. You want to do.
Yeah, it doesn't give you a good cold
Right.
inflow.
You've got to have. You've got to do one or the other.
But I think we need the roof vents, don't you?
Yeah.
The ridge vent.
You would rather have the ridge vent, I would
Right, yeah.
think. So I mean,
I guess I'd second that.
okay, well, now we
can
can
have
discuss it.
discussion.
Yeah, now we-
I don't need anything more now.
I think, you know, Craig does good work too, Fennell. I mean, I think, you know, I've heard good things about 3 of these people at least, so. But I think it does come down to meeting our capital expense budgeted fund.
Right.
And my only hesitation is his bid is so much less than the others.
We've seen it before, though. We've seen it before, and he's been in business for quite a while. He does do good work.
I really defer to your judgment on this one.
You know, I would think.
Yeah, my experience with Travis more has been, I guess, watching him do stand and seam more than shingle. I'm
Right,
not
he's done that.
familiar with the shingle work.
It's not as fancy as this one, and it didn't come with samples, but it seems as though he covers all of the
And then some. I mean,
specs. Yeah, and they got the comment about the roof, the ridge vent, and the gables. So,
And the important thing is to get it stripped down bare and make sure there's no rot
right.
and get a decent job back on, yeah. Yep.
okay, so we have a motion. It's been seconded. We've discussed it. All those in favor of awarding this to Travis Slade?
Aye.
Opposed? And Travis Slade has won the bid.
So do you want to follow up with him, Lewis, or want me to follow up
Why
with
don't
him?
you, you've got this one here.
Okay,
Let me
I'm going to
steal a
give you
phone
his
number.
card.
Oh, there you go, yep.
There you go.
And Pam said that she would call the rest of them tomorrow to let them know
Okay.
who got the bid, because they all asked.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
All right. Good. All right. Let's see.
Can I have one more question? This is now gonna, when he does this extra work, gonna run over our $9,000 budgeted.
Extra work?
Well, if he does something with these louvers.
Well,
So we should,
just, do you want me to come like we did the gravel the other week? I'll just say,
This is
Okay.
what we told you.
okay, all right, okay.
I'll just wear my regular clothes. And you'll know that we don't take
Okay.
more money.
Yeah, all right.
Just hope that he doesn't. So, okay, so you're going to contact them.
I will, yep.
Very good. Is there any other business? come before this august body on the 17th of April. Where is Bill Holiday anyway? We need him.
School vacation, right?
Yeah.
I guess I have one thing. You're not gonna be in town next week, Joe?
I'm here next week,
Oh, okay.
then gone for a couple of weeks.
All right, so you'll be there for the goals meeting then?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, that was my only concern.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
All right.
All right, any other business? No? Well, I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.